consciousness or sakshi. It is easiest thing to do, and it is the most difficult. Canvas is there, TV screen is there. Take an example of TV screen. Movie is going on, hero is there, actress is there, villain is there, fight is going on, but nothing happens to that TV screen. But now see, if you do not have a TV screen, you cannot play any movie. So in our case, that mind and the pure consciousness cannot be separated. At least there is a choice uh, that you stop running the movie so you can see the TV screen. But it is not in the case of the human life. That mind and the consciousness, mind and the real self are intimately, they are intimate because consciousness is borrowed, given to the mind, and then the mind functions. So to step back can only happen by discernment. You cannot separate it physically. I have to separate in my mind. But if the mind is not qualified, then it will not happen. Then it will not happen. So, masters in their own writings have explained about the witness consciousness. Vivekananda says, step back. Huh? And uh, other masters says, you are the knower, not the doer and the enjoyer. But the mind identifies being a doer and the enjoyer. That is what you have been explaining that I forget. Forgetfulness comes because I identify myself with the doer and the enjoyer. That is the only. So witness is independent. TV screen is independent of movie. Whether you run a horror movie, whether you run a romantic movie, TV screen is not affected. So the same way the witness consciousness is not at all affected, influenced, dictated by any event, any doer, any enjoyer in day-to-day living. So there is another way to understand that knower and the known are different. I know you, you are the known, I am the knower. So I don't say that I know a donkey, so it does not mean I become a donkey. I am different than the donkey. It's a very tough example to help us remember. But what happens? I am doing the work through the body and I become the doer. I become the enjoyer. It is the same thing, I become the donkey. This is known. What is known? Body is known. Forget that body is known, then I cannot be the body. I am different. I am separate. Can I separate it physically? No. That is the problem. Why sadhana takes a long time? Because this mind forget. Why it forgets? Because then I become the body. That is forgetfulness. I become the body. I become rich. The bank is rich, the lot of money is lying in the bank account. I'm not rich. I'm not the poor. So you see that entire thought process takes over the consciousness. Entire thought process takes over the knower, takes over the witness consciousness, covers. superimposes, and it says, this is you are. Thought, memories, feelings are always gets associated with the doer and the experiencer. They are all part of the mind. Can I speak? Can I say a bold statement? When you say you are an individual, it is nothing but your conscious mind. There is nothing else. Declare. Contemplate on it. Conscious mind creates I thought and then becomes an individual. First, there is a conscious mind. There is no individual. Where is the individual? Show me. I thought. So where the I thought occurs? It occurs in the conscious mind.
But all this movie we call life. So we are stay side of life.
So first we have an I thought, and then I thought that I possess, I own, I like, I dislike, and the world is created. Who created the world? The conscious mind. But I say, no, this is my world. This is me. Come on, where is me and mine? Fact is that, the truth is that there is no me and mine. There is no conscious mind, there is no I thought, there is no individual. Now go back to the conscious mind. So consciousness, mind borrows the consciousness from the real self, then it becomes conscious mind. We have a proof in deep sleep, conscious mind is not there. Mind is there, conscious mind is not there. Oh, it means that is what you are talking of, the TV screen, which does not change. It is a witness consciousness. You run a horror movie, you run a romantic movie, do whatever you want to do, that never changes. It is the conscious mind, identification, superimposition, attachment and detachment, creating me and mine is the problem. And I'm none of them. It is simply a conscious mind. Conscious mind is jiva, is an individual. But how the mind can become an individual? That is ignorance. And that ignorance cannot be removed by any practice. You do breathing, you do kundalini, you do anything. It has to go by knowledge. I have to understand it. That I'm not the conscious mind. So when I'm not the conscious mind, I'm not an individual. So when I'm not an individual, I'm not a doer and an enjoyer. Oh, I realize I'm a TV screen. It's only a presence. It's a pure consciousness. Mind, you are creating all the problem. I have an acute pain where in the head, in the knees, in the whole body. Doctor says, hold on, let me give you anesthesia. Pain is gone. Eye is also gone. Daily our experience is that. Those teeth are removed, you put it and she put it and removed the teeth. Finished. Mind is disconnected from the part of the body. Body claims that I am the doer, and so now pay attention that when you say you are stepping back, you are stepping back. You are watching a horror movie on the TV. You are stepping back. Now you are also aware of the TV screen. Nothing is happening to the TV screen and the movie continues. That is the meaning of stepping back. That is the meaning of the stepping back. You're talking to your honey and you're stepping back. Oh, who is this honey? Conscious mind. who is interacting, another conscious mind. That is the meaning of stepping back. It is here and now. This superimposition, if you can remove, you can stop TV and so movie stops. So I can see it's a physical separation. But I have to separate in my mind. Mental separation is what the viveka is. So when I separate, I'm not attached. When I'm not attached, there is a sense of vairagya. The way at this time, the conscious mind here is speaking to you. You are the known, I am the knower. Separation is there. So it's a separation in the mind. But what happens? My conscious mind perceives your body is different from my body, and it says you are different from me. It perceives at the level of the body. That is how I see you are separate from me. Your conscious mind borrowed the consciousness from the same real self. My conscious mind borrowed the same consciousness from the same real self. Real self is one. Where is the difference? Where is the difference? You have a big painting. So I asked this guy, who is it? My dad, my mom. Then after a few minutes he started crying. I said, why you are crying? You are already telling me that here is your dad and here is your mom. No, it's an image of my dad and mom. My mom and dad died many years ago. No, but you were telling me he is your mom and dad. No, it is their image. That is the problem. I identify. This is identification. And that de-identification can only take place in the mind by discernment and dispassion. So when we use the word that I should step back, I should be a witness, I should find out the knower, I'm the knower, I'm not the doer and the experiencer, it should only take place by discernment, mentally separating myself. You say honey, honey, no problem. But internally at the mental level, you recognize, you move step by step. She is honey outside, okay, I will continue to communicate with her like honey. But at the same time, I will see that this honey is separate from the woman. She is first the woman, after that, she is honey. First level. That is what the step back is. Mentally, no, how to, you start thinking like this. No worries. So who thinks? If you are not conscious, you will not think. So who is that conscious mind? It is an individual. There is a false notion that this conscious mind is an individual. Where is an individual? Show me. Let me remove the mind and show me an individual.
But any individuality is connected to the body. No body, no individual.
No, the fact is that there is no conscious mind, there is no individuality. Because if there is a conscious mind, then only it will identify with the body. Consciously, I say that no, I'm the body. Come on, I'm an individual. It's a conscious mind is talking. Conscious mind is talking to me. It created an impression. It created a name and the form. It added the profession. It added the possessions. It added the relationship. Everything is done by the conscious mind. Where is this I? I is simply I thought. So we have to be a daring, we have to enter into that adventure into the consciousness by discernment and dispassion. Then I'm the knower, okay, then I'm the witness. Or I can use the word I step back. So step back in the mind, step back from me and mine, step back from being a doer and the experiencer. So I see that consciousness borrowed by the mind created a thought pattern, created individuality, created me and mine, created attachment and detachment. So I say, oh, here is a consciousness which is independent of the mind. The moment it goes to the mind, mind starts singing its own tune, then I'm the knower. Clear? So that is what is known as the witness consciousness. So even during any practice of meditation, if the knowledge is not there, the practice does not succeed. Now see this conscious mind. Conscious mind says this is the body. That much is okay. Problem is that it says this is my body. So now it says it is my body, then there has to be I, whose body belongs to this. So the mind creates another thought. So in the mind there is another level of ignorance. And then the intellect cleverly says, I am an individual, I have a body. And then what happens? Then I become an experiencer, I experiences, and I forget the consciousness behind. Many people, they watch the horror movie and then they start crying. Come on, it's only a TV screen. Nothing is there. So, because I'm attached. I may say, and I can take up that in detail, it is because of the conscious mind, the experiencer, experienced, and the experiences takes place, then only the concept of past impression, vasanas and sanskaras have been explained by our master. Otherwise, there is nothing. They are simply models. Model to make me understand. Because I become angry if I cannot explain from where the anger has come from the past impression. How can I explain the entire model? So there is a vasana, there is model. you know, there must be a logic to explain, to reason. If there is no reasoning, then the entire journey of the Eastern wisdom will not work. So we created many models to explain. Otherwise, there is only one consciousness, nothing else. Nothing else. So, but we say there is only one consciousness, then I am the consciousness. Yes, yes, you are the consciousness. No, but I don't see it. Why you don't see it? Because your conscious mind is identified as an individual through the body, mind, impressions. You see the model. You see the model. So we have an answer. Why we have an answer? Because we want to remove the doubt. But why we have a doubt? Because I am attached. I created an individuality which does not exist. So I cannot lift my level of awareness without a model. So we say, okay, you are attached, that's why you. Are you really attached to your honey? Are you really sticking like a glue to your honey? No. Does your lot of thoughts always in the mind about attachment? No. But because of forgetfulness, we say you have to understand this principle, this model. The moment you forget, you are not a knower, you are not a witness consciousness, and even in that forgetfulness, you continue to do the practices. That is one reason of our failure in our daily life, or in the journey of the Eastern wisdom. We fail. We fail because of ignorance, because of the impurities in the mind, because of lack of discernment. How long I have to practice meditation? Until you die. How long you have to breathe? How long you have to eat? Our simple answer is till I die. Same thing. Same thing applies. Consciously, you are living your life identifying with the consciousness that never changes is the way. So, what will happen? The changes will take place. People will notice. You will notice. You will see that there is a complete end of the suffering and there is a sense of awakening to the permanent peace and happiness. You see that. That is, so you need to, I know it will take some time to move on to the contemplation and reflection. So there are many texts which directly helps us to contemplate and reflect. So from there, I'm talking about. Another way to contemplate conscious mind, I am an individual, yes. Who says this? Conscious mind. So there is a consciousness and there is a mind. See that? There is a consciousness and then there is a mind. That consciousness is like a light. The way the light is. So whether the computer screen is here or not, the light will continue to throw light. It has no problem. Light, sunlight is there. It will remain there. In the presence of the sunlight, I can see the objects. But it does not affect the sunlight. Similarly, consciousness is not affected. No, but I'm stressed. It is the mind. Secondary consciousness. It is the secondary. No, I have a lot of pleasure with my honey. Secondary consciousness. Consciousness, that light is independent. I'm a knower. I'm a witness. See the difference. Another way to understand. Another way to not only mentally understand and become aware. Oh, this is what you are saying. So, whether the pleasure is there or not, that light of consciousness is there. You are stepping back. That is the meaning of stepping back. I'm explaining that what do you mean by stepping back? What do you mean by the knower? What do you mean by the witness? Another way to understand this witness consciousness is that look at the sugar. You are the sweetness of a sugar. You are not the sugar cube. You are not the sugar powder. But they cannot be separated. Problem is this. I have to separate it mentally. Conscious mind and the consciousness cannot be separated. No way. But the conscious mind creates an imagination that I'm individual, you are individual, we are separate, we are student, we are the seeker, and a long range of problem. You are rich and the poor, you are a man and a woman. We belong to the human species, the differences comes. I'm a sweetness of a sugar. I'm a light of the sun. Consciousness, consciousness. In the presence of that consciousness, the mind, body, sense organ works. So, witness is nothing but realizing we are the sweetness of a candy, ice cream, but we are not the ice cream. We are not the body, we are not the mind, we are not an individual, we are consciousness. We are the knower. Sometime it happens you are angry and you are aware of that anger. You have separated your anger because conscious mind says, calm down, don't say anything at this moment. So we feel as if my conscious mind has done. No, witness, because you are the witness of that anger, that's why your anger has calmed down. Sometimes it happens to us. So we remain calm in that state. We do not translate that emotion into action. Why? Because at that moment, I feel separate from the body. Conscious mind means feel separate from the body. Simple. This I is nothing but the conscious mind. Think like this. Is only the conscious mind, is an individual, is attached, is detached, is feeling problem, is feeling pain. Only the conscious mind. There is no identity. There is no I-ness at all. Think, contemplate, reflect. So now see what is going to happen. I just gave you a very wonderful secret if you go deeper. Just because when I say that I am stressed, then there is always an identification. But when you think that is a conscious mind, then at least I find a little bit of separation. Fact is that it is conscious mind. The truth is that. The world outside and the objects, we see them remain detached like a witness. That is what the knower is. That is what the witness consciousness is. If anyhow, even if we believe that, how can you reject this I? You are a seeker, so that's why I say that it's on conscious mind. At this stage, I should say. This I is totally absent in deep sleep. The moment we wake up means I become conscious. So then there is I thought, then it's my body, my honey, my kids, my money, my clothes, my business.
No, the consciousness in deep sleep presence, the mind is absent.
Mind is absent. That's what we are saying. So because mind is absent, so I is also absent. So
Yeah.
I is the mind. That proves that I is the mind.
But my body continue to function in
Yeah,
the night.
yeah, your
So,
body will continue to function. It has
so
nothing to do with I. It has nothing to do with the I. The plants, they have a sensation. They continue to function. It doesn't mean that we need an I to function. Animals, they do not have that I-ness and still they function. So we don't need this I. I we need for the sake of convenience to live in the material world. It's a matter of convenience. It's a matter of language. It's a matter of language. That's all. And we should continue to use because it cannot be separated. But the way we use with awareness makes a difference. Makes a difference. So what happens that the moment we wake up and I wake up and still I live in ignorance. I'm still sleeping to my real self. Why I'm sleeping to my real self? Because conscious mind creates I, my, and me. And then we are overpowered by I, my, and me. So when I am overpowered by I, my, and me, and then I should be different from you. So the difference enters into the mind, the duality enters. Because of the duality, we have likes and dislikes. Because of likes and dislikes, we have attachment and detachment. Because of attachment and detachment, we have a desire, and desire, then the pride, then the delusion, and we live in ignorance. You are aware, and still some thoughts are going on in your mind, and you are aware. Awareness is there, and the thoughts are going on in your mind. Obviously, we are a knower. It's not a big deal, it's easy. I'm aware of the feeling and the sensations in the body. That is the knower. Until it is attached, identifies. I'm aware. But at the same time, Master says, don't think that it is such an easy thing. For to observe your thoughts, you must first separate yourself from them. Then only you can be an observer. In the ordinary state, in the ordinary state, the ordinary man does not distinguish himself from his thoughts. He does not even know what he is thinking. He thinks by habit. So that's another model. You see that another model we have created. He thinks by habit. He thinks by impulses. Another model, you see. He thinks mechanically. Another model, he thinks culturally. Sometime in a group session, I ask people, what are you thinking? I'm not thinking anything. So I'm not aware. I'm not aware. 99 out of 100 times, our answer is no, I don't know what I'm thinking. It's going mechanically, habitually. So that then the knower identifies with the body, with the mind, with the past impressions. So I'm living a mechanical life. I'm living basically an animal life. So you see that, that is how we understand that the lower state of the consciousness, higher state of the consciousness, they are part of the conscious mind and the subconscious mind. That is where we created a concept. Oh, I was totally absorbed in habitual thinking, so I have become a knower. Not a big deal. We can say like this, understand it clearly. We can say if or it, consciousness is not by its nature detached from the mental and other activities. By its nature, detached. But conscious mind, individuality, me and mine, gives me a feeling of attachment. That is why we talk of detachment. That is why we talk of discernment. Consciousness cannot be attached to anything, it is independent. But it gets involved. Why it gets involved? Because conscious mind, I, me, mine, that is what we say the human consciousness. But the human consciousness and the witness consciousness are different. Are you getting it? Are you picking? Consciousness by nature is detached. Then why I'm talking of dispassion? Because I claim, my conscious mind first claims individuality, then it creates I thought, then it identifies with the body, then it feels that it is attached, so we have a detachment. Fact is that it is not attached.
Yes,
That is ignorance. That is human consciousness.
but so only mind can be in a relationship with outside object
Yeah. So
through the body.
when I claim that I am the conscious mind, means I am an individual and I have me and mine, so I am attached. But as long as this notion, wrong notion, breaks up, I cannot realize what is behind the conscious mind. So that is why we have to separate it mentally by discernment and dispassion. And that is why we have to become a qualified seeker to move into the higher state of the witness consciousness. You see that witness consciousness, to explain, I am explaining this witness consciousness from the standpoint of wave. Wave is also water, but I don't know. I see the wave is different from the water. So if I explain it, that witness consciousness implies, from the standpoint of mind, implies some degree of detachment from the mental and other inner activities. But from the standpoint of consciousness, you don't need any kind of attachment or detachment because consciousness is neither attached nor detached to anything. From the standpoint of the water, wave do not exist. Come on. It's only water. When the water looks at the wave, water asks, where is the wave? It's all water. So no difference. So no attachment, no detachment. So we are already in the state of witness consciousness. You have to think. I say contemplation, reflection. You have to think by yourself. Oh, let me know, let me know. But you make it sure from today, the moment you have any kind of stress or sense of forgetfulness or duality or a conflict, Come on, there is no I, it's all conscious mind. Let me see, let me check. Conscious mind. Last time I think I discussed about the Sankhya, but Sankhya Yoga clearly spells out. Here is a Prakriti and here is a Purusha. They said they are totally separate. Prakriti means matter, matter is inert, it is constantly changing. Purusha is conscious, it is a conscious principle, it is independent, it is never changing. It says, so you start thinking in that way. Conscious mind is individual. Let me see whether the individual here inside is changing or no, it's changing. It has changed since morning, since I wake up. It's Prakriti. It's matter.
Prakriti and Purusha always exist. It cannot be Prakriti without Purusha or Purusha without Prakriti.
It cannot be separated. The moment I say I am the knower, still the part of the Prakriti is there in the expression. Electric current without wire, no possibility. The wire and the electric current has to be there. So Sankhya says that because Purusha is a conscious principle, I can definitely separate what is not conscious from me. What is not conscious? Body, sense organ, the mind, intellect, and ego. So they are very much clear from that part. So that is another model. These we have different models. So when we come to look at ourselves instead of out of the word, and we begin to analyze our subjective experience. We see there are two parts of our being. One, I feel, is the known part, and the other I feel I am. Begin with that. So I am in the conscious mind is different from the body, is different from the sense organ, is different from the thoughts, is also different from the stress, is different from the pleasure, is different from the doer, is different from the enjoyer. We enter into the witness consciousness. Now see another, we are opening up all the models for clarity. We normally say move the mind within. I also say move the mind within, live within, so that you can awaken within. Are you moving the mind within the body? Where? You're not the body. Where are you moving? Moving the mind within means you are nullifying all the experiences taking place in the mind. That is the meaning of moving the mind within. So normally people live in ignorance. No, I have to move the mind here, I have to move the mind in the heart, you have to move the mind in the knees. No. They are symbolic. They are metaphors. Whether you move the mind here or you move the mind in the toes, it is the same thing. No, here it is a very powerful center. In the beginning, for primary, for the beginners, it is okay. But for a seeker, it does not make any difference. Moving the mind means that you are now entering into the knowerhood, witness consciousness, separating mentally whether you can do it here or whether you can do it by heart or you can do it by belly. We can still continue doing those practices, but now with a clarity and understanding. Consciousness here or consciousness here or consciousness in the toes, they all are same. There is no difference. Consciously, logically, factually, they all are same. No, consciousness going through the eyes are different from the consciousness going through the ears. No, object is different. Consciousness is the same. The way consciousness goes through your mind based on your impression about a woman becomes honey based on the impression that you have, but consciousness is the same. We are learning to break up all these wrong notions. These wrong notions are right for the beginners. Definitely. But at least, they should learn how to focus. They are good. But when we are a seeker, they do not matter. We want, our goal is to know who am I. My goal is not to know what lies inside my forehead. Very clear. My one point focus should be who am I? I am not inside the head, I am not inside the heart, I am not inside my toes, I am not inside my spine. Who am I? Many people say, oh, your your text talks about 330 millions of God and God. Forget about that. Find out who am I. You will find out all those gods and goddesses. Another way to understand this witness consciousness, I'm speaking, so I'm active. Who says I'm active? Conscious mind. Come on, conscious mind. Are you making me crazy? So separate active consciousness from the consciousness, passive consciousness. One knower means consciousness is always separate from what I'm speaking, how I'm speaking. My body is moving, my fingers are moving, it's different. So the moment you are separating your active consciousness from the passive, you are separating the knower from the known. So you don't become the doer, you don't become the enjoyer. Outward, yes, I'm a speaker, you are a listener, but inside, who is the speaker, where is the speaker? At the same time. So the moment I feel that separation, I'm moving my mind within. That is the meaning of moving the mind within. Not moving the mind inside the head or in what you will find moving the mind inside the head. You find the skull, you find the neurons, you find the cell, that's all. And it is again a part, matter. So you are not moving within means that you are not going into the matter. Then you become a scientist, you don't become a seeker. So, this is one part. Once we are able to see that separation from the active and the passive so called consciousness, then what happens? We recognize physical consciousness, we recognize energy consciousness, we recognize emotion consciousness, we recognize mental consciousness. Then there are gradations. Then there are gradations. But first step is moving within. If we don't move within, it will not happen. So what happens that this consciousness manifests very little in the body, little more in the energy, more in the mind, and then more higher and higher about the mind. So that is how we have classified the different states of the consciousness from the lower to the higher. But the journey must begin with the conscious mind. That is the secret of practice. Mind or intellect. So, intellect should understand it is 100% clear. That clarity lives during the practice. It recognizes I'm not the body, I'm not the mind, these are lower consciousness. Okay. And then we grow further into the witness consciousness. Another model that I would say Sri Aurobindo explains is such a beautiful. Try this out. I recognize the thoughts in the conscious mind because if I am unconscious, I do not recognize the thoughts. First step. First understanding. Step one understanding. Then he says that when there is no I thought, you will recognize that all the thoughts are coming from outside. Not a single thought occurs in your mind. These all thoughts are coming from outside. If there is no I, first these thoughts comes from the outer space, they enter into your mind, then the conscious mind says I, then it becomes my thought. It's a beautiful. It's a beautiful. I practiced a lot about this, and within few minutes, you are already in meditation. Well, I is not there. So when I is not there, so my thought, your thought, good thought, bad thought, detached thought is not there. They all are coming from outside. But you have to maintain that alertness and awareness that this conscious mind does not play a trick and it claims that this is me and mine. Then Arvindo says witnessing is so natural, then there is no problem. Yes, it's very important to know in this technique that conscious mind starts taking a excessive interest. that all the thoughts are coming from outside and internally it identifies. That creates a problem. Because somehow the I is very deeper level. The sense of I-ness is already, no, no, I am. No, not I am. Just awareness. Not I am. All the thoughts are coming from outside. So all the thoughts are coming from outside into my conscious mind, not into me. So when I say not into me, it means I have started taking excessive interest. My I is already created in the conscious mind, and that will fail me. So that is why I started today. No individuality, no me and mine, it's all conscious mind. And mind is, at least we have reached to a state, we know that the mind is an instrument. Mind is not me. Any thought, it's conscious mind. Any feeling, conscious mind. Any change, conscious mind. I am stressed, it's a conscious mind. So another way is, from there we can get another idea. I'm speaking. Conscious mind says, I am speaker. Conscious mind says, you are listener. Conscious mind says, knowledge is passing through. It's all work of the conscious mind that creates I, you, and the knowledge. So this mind divides into three, engages you into attachment, ideation, self identification, and forgets the knower. It happens all the time. But it is extremely difficult in the beginning, even if we are a seeker, to separate these three. It happens automatically. I asked you, how are you? So you just started you just started speaking. Instant. There is a sense of forgetfulness. Oh, how are you? Oh, you are talking about me. Yes, yes, I will talk. I'll talk. I listened to the talk a couple of times. You see, it is so nice. We feel it is natural. So it is little bit challenging in the beginning, but gradually, when we are able to separate, again I'm saying, when I say we are able to separate, it is already separate. We have to recognize that it is separate. Consciousness cannot be attached, cannot be detached. It has nothing to do with attachment and detachment. It is the conscious mind. What is conscious mind? The mind borrows the consciousness from the real self and it has become a conscious mind. So hence the conscious mind cannot be separated from the real self. Otherwise I cannot speak, think and act. But that conscious mind is an imaginary mind. It claims it is me consciousness, it is my consciousness, it is I am the doer, I am the enjoyer. That conscious mind must go. Must go. Explain must go. There is nothing to go, but I have to explain in the language. Screen does not change. Movie
You,
continues.